Have you ever had a conflict or a situation where, for whatever reason, in that moment, you weren't able to resolve it, and then it just sort of ate away at you after that because you kept thinking about that situation that it wasn't possible to resolve? Today, we're going to talk about two ways that you can resolve your relationship with any challenge that you have in your life. Welcome to Every Day a New Thought. I'm Thor Challgren, and today we're going to talk about how you can resolve any issue that you have, and maybe it's a challenge that you've got with someone where it doesn't feel like in that moment that you can completely resolve it, and you leave that situation feeling dissatisfied, like, gosh, I want to be able to say that thing, but I know I can't. Today we're going to talk about how you can resolve it for yourself. Now, I know there are conflicts that we all have in life where maybe it's not possible in that moment to resolve the issue that we have with someone. Maybe you have a fight or an argument with someone, and for whatever reason, in that moment, you can't resolve it with them. Maybe it's someone you work with or work for. It could be a personal relationship. Whatever it is, if you don't think it's possible to have a conversation right then and there to clarify it, here's what you can do. So let's say you come away from this and you feel like, you know what, for whatever reason, I can't resolve it with them. You can still resolve it for yourself. Because obviously you don't want to carry the energy of that conflict into the rest of the day. So here's how you do it. First, you ask, is there anything that you could have done differently in that situation? Look at your own part in it and ask yourself, was I clear in my communication? Were my expectations reasonable? Was the way I communicated reasonable? Is there anything that I can take ownership and responsibility for myself and improve upon next time? Or could I, if I really feel that I'm at fault in that matter, maybe it requires me to go back and apologize to that person. So first step is ask yourself, could you have done anything differently? The second is to ask yourself, what can I learn from that? Because maybe there wasn't anything that you could have done differently, but you can still learn, okay, if I'm ever in this situation again, for example, what would I do differently? How could I improve this for the next time? What do I now know about the communication style that I have with that person? There's all sorts of things that you can look at and ask, what can I learn from it? And then thirdly, decide, is there anything that you want to change based on what you learned? How would you do this differently next time? If so, resolve to make those changes next time. Now, if you've explored this issue completely and you know what you've learned, what you might do differently next time, then just decide to let it go, which I acknowledge is easier said than done. But here's a sort of trick that I saw on an episode of the TV show Lost. In fact, it's in the pilot episode of the show. And there's a trick that the main character, Jack, describes that he uses to get through a really challenging situation. And here's what he described. So he's talking about a situation. The character is an ER doctor, and he's talking about a particular situation that he's in surgery where something just horrible happens and he's instantly filled with fear. And so he says that the way that he dealt with that was, he says he makes a decision to count to 5, and he's going to let himself, during the time that he's counting, he's going to feel all that fear. But once he gets to 5, he's going to let go of that and he's going to stop feeling afraid. So I think we can adapt that same idea to whatever we're dealing with. Maybe we've processed our feelings about this situation, and then we say, you know what, I'm going to count to 5. And during that time, I'm going to let myself feel whatever feelings I have about that issue. Maybe it's frustration, anger, whatever it is. But remember, first, you've already examined the issue for yourself. So you've processed it. The heat of the issues come down. And now you're just deciding, I'm going to move on. So what you do is you say, I'm going to count to 5. I'm going to feel what it is. And then at 5, I'm done. I'm moving on. The emotional part of the issue is resolved as far as you are concerned in that moment. Doesn't mean it won't come up for you again, but at least this allows you to move on, move forward. So the next time you have an issue with someone, first examine your part in the issue and resolve to either change or improve anything that you can do that's yours to do. Then second, count to 5 and then be done with it. Be ready to move on. Try this the next time you have an issue where you want to be able to resolve something in the moment. Thanks for watching the show today. I really appreciate you being here. If you like this episode, please hit like and also subscribe. When you click the subscribe button, it means that every time there's a new thought show, which is every day a new thought, that show will show up on your YouTube. So thank you so much for watching today. Thank you for subscribing. I'll see you tomorrow.